Samkele, good to talk to you. So the ANC actually handing in their list as we speak.
Yes, indeed. The ANC, first of all, they uploaded electronically their list of the various members who may go to the National Assembly and who may go to the various provincial legislatures electronically. They have now come to ceremonially hand over the physical copies of these lists. As it stands, the ANC Secretary General, Ace Mahashule, with Dumo Dlamini and Takota Likhwete, the spokesperson, and the spokesperson of MKMVA, Carl Niehaus, they are currently inside physically handing over those lists. But now we'll speak to the Deputy CEO of the IEC, Mr. Mawetu Museri, and to get a clearer picture of what's going on. Deputy CEO, where do things currently stand? Have all the political parties uploaded their lists? Which political party hasn't done so?
Well, we can't say all of them have uploaded their list, but we've seen quite good activity, particularly today. We woke up this morning with about 33 parties that had indicated to do their submissions. We are now standing at about 55. The reason we are able to pick up this is when they create their profiles on our online system, which will also close at 1700 today. In terms of parties that have actually submitted lists and have actually paid the deposit, we are way below 30 at this point. Not all of them have actually paid, although they've shown an interest to participate.
Has the National Freedom Party, led by Dr. Magwaza Msibi, paid their dues to register for this election, or have they not?
Well, a number of parties, including the NFP, have actually paid, and some have not submitted their party list. So it's not complete until you've made the two submissions, which is the deposit plus the list of your candidates and the required documents.
When it comes to the issue of political parties and the lists, once they've handed over their lists, what then can they do? Should there be drastic changes, like if they find that one of their proposed members of parliament or members of the provincial legislature has a criminal record or is found guilty and convicted of any criminal offence? Do they have that opportunity to change those various names, and what's the time frame of them changing those names?
Well, once we close the process this afternoon, we will only allow political parties to bring the missing documents, which is mainly the acceptance of nomination, and we will only allow for that correction to be done. Around the 25th of March, we will then indicate as the Commission if there is a candidate who's nominated by two or more political parties, so that then parties have an opportunity to remove that candidate and rearrange their list. After that, we will then allow for objections to any candidate. This is where matters that relate to criminal records and things like that would come up, but obviously we'll have to follow the constitutional articulation on when does a criminal record matter and when does the question of mental capacity matter, and we'll look at those as part of the objection period. But even where a candidate is removed after objection, the parties would not have an opportunity to reorder the list or introduce new candidates.
In the history of elections, particularly in provinces such as KwaZulu-Natal, you've seen high levels of violence, particularly between the two dominant political parties in that province. I'd rather not mention them. And looking at the current political killings in that province of KwaZulu-Natal, and particularly within the northern parts, your Zululand, so on and so forth, Mhlabya-Lingane, are you anticipating any political violence, particularly within that province of KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Limpopo of late, that we've seen political killings in that province? Are you anticipating any of that nature?
Well, we wouldn't like to see any lives lost around elections, and to the extent that as an electoral commission will play a role to minimize incidents of that nature, we will do that. However, the lie of the land and the stability and the peacefulness of the environment we have for these elections is very positive, and it looks like in the remaining 55 days we will remain with peace throughout the country. Yes, there will be isolated incidents, whether it's protests by communities or in some instances, as indicators are showing us, some of the killings are a within-party reason and motivation, not so much intra-party conflict, which is a positive environment that we are indicating, that at least between political parties there is sufficient cooperation and respect of the code of conduct. We will still do our part in terms of ensuring that political parties sign the code of conduct next week at a national level, and then they will sign the code of conduct in all provinces soon thereafter.
When you look at, not to steal Pulemabe's words, the current mood in the country, the mood of elections, how are you feeling it? Are young people energized to go out and vote for their respective political parties, or is it the same old mentality that we, as I am young as well, have had over the past few years, saying that voting is for the elderly, it's not for us young people who don't have that apathy at voting? Is that kind of mood there?
Oh, certainly. By looking at the outcome of the registration weekend in January, as well as the work we did at tertiary institutions throughout the country, the mood was very good with young people. They came out to register. In fact, we had more new voters participating in January than we had re-registrations and other older voters coming back. So the program of our IEC has been profound for young people, and we will continue with that message, and we'll work with them to say, now that you are on the voters' roll, take the further step and the responsibility to go out and vote on May 8.
My last question, sir, not to hold you, and you're also out of time. The Democratic Alliance has lodged a complaint against the ANC over their war room that was allegedly funded by a facilities company that's currently embroiled in state capture. Testimony at Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's commission. And also the ANC has laid a counter charge against the economic freedom fighters for a certain WhatsApp that is doing the rounds. What's the latest on these two cases that have been brought forward by the ANC and by the DA?
Well, I can indicate to you that we do have 4 complaints that we have received as the Commission, and we've put a capacity in place to specifically investigate each one of them. And on conclusion of the investigation, there will be a recommendation which the Commission will consider and determine either way whether it is upheld or declined. And on the outcome, the Commission will outline further action that would need to be taken. So we still intend reaching that point of the Commission determining those complaints before the election and well before the election. So it's in place. We are working on it.
Well, thank you very much for your time, so I really appreciate it. That was the Deputy CEO of the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa, which will be administering these elections for the 8th of May. Also, the ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule is currently inside. And also, not stealing the words of suspended ANC spokesperson Pulemabe, he's saying that young people are in the mood of elections to vote for their respective political parties on the 8th of May.
Okay, let's hope young people are in the mood and they turn up on the 8th of May. Samkele Maseko, they're in Pretoria at the IEC offices.